Hey everybody, welcome back to our Textile Talk series where we discuss all things fibers and fabrics. Today I'm going to be talking all about linen and why it's one of our favorite fabrics here at A Thrifty Notion. So whether you're someone who makes your own clothes or just trying to learn about different fiber types for your shopping when you're out buying clothing, this video is definitely going to be beneficial. So first let's talk about where linen comes from. Linen is a natural fiber that comes from the flax plant. The great thing about flax is that it's actually a very hardy plant. You don't need extensive irrigation systems, fertilizers, or pesticides to grow healthy flax plants. These things are sometimes used in conventional growing methods, but they're used in much lower quantities than they are for some other crops because the plant can live and grow healthily without them. That alone makes linen a much more sustainable fiber than some other options like cotton. So if you haven't checked out our cotton sustainability video, I'm going to link it in the cards because I go into detail on how fertilizers and pesticides affect our environment, and that can clear up some stuff if you aren't aware of some of the effects that they have. In addition to its low resource use, flax plants actually have some very beneficial effects on our environment as well. Flax plants can help clean our air by retaining 3.7 tons of CO2 per hectare each year. And when the flax plants are harvested, the roots that are left in the soil can help fertilize it and increase productivity for years to come. And if that wasn't enough, when flax plants are grown in their ideal geographical zone, all parts of the plant are usable. Flax can be used to produce things like paper, varnish, oil, seeds, and I've even heard of the fiber being used in the automotive industry to reinforce plastics. Next, let's talk about the technical properties of linen fabric. Per usual, I want to give my short little spiel that there are very low quality and very high quality linen fabrics on the market, so not all of them will be a good indicator of these properties. I'm going to compare linen to cotton a little bit, partially because I've already done a video on the properties of cotton fabric, but also because I think it's a fabric that most of us are fairly familiar with, so that'll give you a good benchmark. The first notable thing about linen is that it's very durable. It's generally considered to be about 2 to 3 times stronger than cotton fibers, and they become even stronger when the fabric's wet. In addition to that, linen fibers are much longer than some other natural fibers like cotton or wool, so linen fabrics don't really pill like some other fabrics do. Linen is also very breathable and moisture wicking. If you watched our cotton video, you know that cotton absorbs a lot of water, but it doesn't dry very quickly, so it doesn't have that wicking property that some other fabrics do. Linen is similar to cotton in the fact that it is very breathable because it's also cellulose-based, and it also absorbs about 20% of its weight in water, but it also dries faster than cotton, so it will be more wicking than cotton fabrics are. This makes it a great fabric for warm weather dressing, especially if we're talking about a humid environment. Another fascinating property of linen is that it's not only hyperallergenic, just like cotton, but it also has some antimicrobial properties. This is related to the chemical composition of the fiber, most notably the lignin content. It can be affected a little bit by the variety of the plant or how the plant is processed, but when tested against Staphylococcus bacteria, it was found to reduce its growth. So it's not antibacterial, it doesn't completely prevent growth, but it will reduce the growth of bacteria, which makes it a great choice for things like bedding and home textiles. All of the properties we just discussed make linen a very versatile fabric. One of my favorite things about linen is that it can be dressed up or down depending on how the clothing item is made, the style of it, and whether or not you're willing to iron your clothing before you wear it. It can be used to make some very fun, floaty, throw-and-go, effortless clothing items, but it can also be used to make things like suits and even some nicer, more formal dresses. I've even seen some really incredible silk and linen blend fabrics, and so if you haven't used one of those before, I highly recommend it. They're a dream to work with, and I love the texture. The last thing I want to note about linen is that there are a lot of misconceptions about its durability and whether or not it can be machine washed. As we discussed, it is a very durable fabric and it does become even stronger when it's wet, so it can withstand machine washing. So you're probably wondering, why are there so many clothing items that say dry clean only? That's usually because the apparel companies that produce these items don't adequately pre-shrink their fabric before making clothing out of it, and so they don't want consumers machine washing and drying the fabric and causing it to shrink and then obviously be unwearable. So if you're making your own clothing, I highly recommend machine washing and drying your fabric on high heat to make sure you get all of the shrinking out of its system before you make clothing out of it. But after that, you're good to go. As we discussed, linen is very durable and it becomes even stronger when it's wet, so it withstands machine washing better than a lot of other fabrics. It can also withstand very high temperatures, higher temperatures than fabrics like cotton. And if you have things like linen handkerchiefs or linen bedding that you're concerned about the sanitation of for some reason, I've even heard of people submerging their linen items in boiling water for a short period of time to sanitize it. And because it can withstand those high temperatures, it will hold up to that very well, and that's one way to ensure that your linen is adequately sanitized. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. As always, leave your comments, questions, or suggestions down below, and I will see you next time. Happy sustainable sewing!